It's time for another story time video. You guys seem to really like the one I did a couple months ago. If you missed it, you can check it out right there. But this one is an older story, and I actually totally forgot about it until like last week. And this story is actually a story about my first time camping. And it happened, I think 11 or 12 years ago. It was when I was a senior in high school. But it all starts with my friend that will remain nameless. My friend got a brand new car. At least it was brand new to him. I don't think it was like, you know, a brand new car. In fact, I remember what it was. It was a white Mitsubishi Galant, which if you're a senior in high school and you get anything other than a 1993 Honda Civic, then it's like a Ferrari. So needless to say, he was hyped. He was driving it to school. People were like, whoa, dude, including me. It was sweet. Me and him hung out all the time, him and I, and he was like a really big outdoors type of person. Like he loved fishing. He loved camping, hiking. He lived outside. He was that type of dude. And he knew I played World of Warcraft. That's all I did. But we were good friends, and he wanted to take me on my first camping adventure because he knew I never went. So he was like, hey, buckle up, buddy. I got a brand new Mitsubishi Galant. Let's go to the Red River Gorge. If you don't know what the Red River Gorge is, it's a place, very pretty place. You can camp there, and it was a couple hours away from us. So yeah, dude, I hopped in and we drove to the Red River Gorge. So on the way there, I remember it was beautiful. I was excited. We had our camping supplies, and yeah, there wasn't much to the drive there. It was great. So we arrived. We parked on a road near the gorge, and this was just like going to be a 24-hour camping thing. So we were just going to leave the car there. So we get the camping supplies out of the trunk, and once again, I've never been camping. He is the camping master, so I was just following his lead, and he led us like literally straight up a cliff. Like no hiking trail. There was not a hiking trail. I mean, there were, but I didn't know about them, and he didn't tell me there were. So I just assumed this is what everyone did. We all kind of, it was like a cliff, like kind of like that. It wasn't quite like that, but it was kind of like that. So we had like backpacks on, and we were like climbing up this cliff with shrubbery all around us. And we get to the top of the cliff. There's not a path in sight, dude. I'm telling you this because mainly as a warning. Never do this, ever, okay? I have been camping since this experience. Follow the paths. Follow the campground paths. Camp where you're supposed to. Don't just go out of bounds, okay? Especially at the Red River Gorge, because it's dangerous there. There are so many places where you can misstep and fall many feet and bad things can happen. So I'm lucky, you know? I'm here telling you this story right now. But basically, I'll tell you some things that happened throughout the day. We forgot to bring food, so we brought Cliff Bars. That's all we brought. We brought like 4 Cliff Bars. We also forgot to bring water, but we did bring water bottles. Like, you know, those canteen things. So I remember mission 1 was eat a Cliff Bar. Mission 2 was find a stream. So we walked up. That's all I remember. We were walking up. I remember that we randomly ran into a field of thorn bushes. Don't know why they were there. I don't know why that's where thorn bushes decided to live, but that's where they were. We literally, it was like hundreds of feet, and we couldn't walk around it. I don't remember why, but we walked through a field of thorn bushes, and it was the worst thing ever. So we got all scraped up. Finally, we found a stream, and I remember we filled up our canteens, and then I think, if I remember correctly, we left the canteens in the stream because he said they would like get colder or something like that. All I remember is we came back and we drank that water, and it was bad. Like, I thought stream water was gonna be great. We drank mud and oil maybe. It was not good. It was terrible. So also Cliff Bars used to be made differently back then. I've had this conversation with numerous people. That was the worst Cliff Bar experience I've ever had in my life. I eat a Cliff Bar like every day now, but back then, no, it was like dog food. Also, we found a really pretty view that he said he knew about, and I followed him, and basically to access this view, once again, not on a trail, you had to walk on something about that wide on the edge of a cliff. Okay, so you're just shimmying. Don't do that. Never do that. But we did. Yeah, I was like looking down. I was like, oh, this is sketchy. Not good. And then I realized once we're on the other side where like you can sit and relax, we got to walk back that way. Okay, which we did. But yeah, the view was nice. I actually looked out in the distance, and there it was, his Mitsubishi Galant, his brand spanking new Mitsubishi Galant. It looked wonderful. It was hundreds of feet away. It was like a little white speck. And that was the moment where I realized, wow, we walked a really long time not following a path. I hope we can find our way back tomorrow because it's getting dark. Anyway, that was basically that day. That's all I really remember of that day. I remember we set up camp. I think we had a hammock. That was cool. Like, some of the parts of the camping experience was nice. Like, the hammock was cool. But yeah, we set up a tent, and I remember we went to bed, and I am pretty sure I used like a rock as a pillow. I didn't bring a pillow. We didn't bring stuff, dude. The things you should bring, we didn't. It was the worst sleep of my life. Honestly, I don't even remember if I did sleep, but what I do remember is I woke up with the worst migraine I've ever had. I used to get migraines like all the time when I was in high school. I get them occasionally now, but they were really frequent back then. And I remember, I think I must have fallen asleep because I remember waking up and there was a little twinkling, like right here, right there. And my head didn't hurt yet, but I had experiences where anytime there was a twinkling in the corner of my eyesight, I knew that day was gonna be terrible. So yeah, that twinkling got bigger and bigger, and eventually it was a migraine. If you guys have ever had a migraine, it is debilitating. You can't function, at least I can't. Sunlight hurts, which it's wonderful that it was the brightest, sunniest day of all time. Also, I had to poop. So I had a terrible migraine. I was feeling sick, and I found a log and did that. We did bring toilet paper. That we did bring. That was the first and only time I've ever pooped in the woods, and it was with a migraine. Do not recommend it. Never do it. But I had to. So after that was done, we walked back the way we walked up, which honestly we were just kind of guessing. And the thing that was the worst part about it is I had to do it kind of with my eyes closed because it was a migraine. It was the worst thing ever. And I remember halfway through the hiking, I threw up. I got sick because that's how bad the migraine was. It wasn't that I was actually sick. It's that your head hurts so bad that you throw up. It's terrible. I remember there was one part where there was a tree that we walked across, and there was probably like a 10 to 15 foot drop across this tree. So it was like a ditch, and we walked across this tree, and I was like, I had my eyes closed, and I was just like bear crawling across the tree. Anyway, I could go on and on about how bad that hike was, but it took some hours, and we made it back to the car, and my migraine was still going on. My friend was not having a great time, which is completely understandable because he was wanting this camping experience to go great, and I woke up and I was a zombie. I could not function. So we kind of just get in his car. I didn't bring medicine, like ibuprofen or anything like that. So I got in his car and we drove home. On that drive home, I remember we couldn't find a gas station for me to get medicine or something like that. I don't know how. There had to be gas stations, but we couldn't find them. It was either that or he wanted to get home as quick as possible or something like that. So I was just trying to fall asleep, but halfway through the drive, we were on the interstate. I was gonna throw up. I had to. And I was like, dude, you gotta pull over. And in his defense, there was like a guardrail or something. Like he could have pulled over, but it was a very inconvenient spot to pull over. And I just kind of woke up and I was like, dude, now you gotta do it. And I was like kind of looking around, like where can I do this? And he was like, I'm not pulling over. So I was like, all right. And I rolled down the window and I puked all over the side of his car on the interstate. My friend, was not stoked, and he wasn't mad at me. He felt bad for me. Like he's a good dude, but he like, this is his new car, dude. He literally got it like 3 days before this, and I just puked. I just puked on the side of it. I do remember, ow, my elbow. After I puked though, I remember that I felt better. Like my head, I was like, whoa, I think that's like what I needed or something. Cause I remember I started feeling better. And so we were driving some hours. I think we got some medicine for me. And he was like, hey, I'm going through a car wash because you puked all over the side of my car. And I was like, yeah, totally. Do your thing, dude. So we went to a car wash, and we both didn't think about putting the mirrors in. So he left them out. And the car wash knocked his mirror off. And if you think about it, it's all my fault. I mean, yeah, he should have brought the mirrors in, but I puked on his car. That's why he got a car wash. It broke his car. I broke his car, dude. And I just remember the next few days at school, him driving to school with just one mirror. And dude, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure we just didn't talk for a couple days, not because we were mad at each other like that, anything like that, but we were just like, we just went through a lot. We need a couple days. Yeah, so that's it, dude. That was the story of how I broke my friend's car. It was also the story of my first camping experience. I've only camped one time since then, and it wasn't even really camping, so I don't know if I even want to call it that. It was, I guess, glamping. Is that the word? It was like a bunch of RVs together, and like everybody had lighters and stuff to make fire, and they had hot dogs. You could sleep in the RV if you wanted to. I slept in a tent right next to an RV, and a deer was outside the tent. So that's the gnarliest, or I guess right there is the most outdoorsy camping experience I've ever had, because I was one with deers. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this story time video. The moral of the story is don't go camping. I'm just kidding. You can go camping. Do not get a migraine during camping. Bring medicine. Bring everything. Also, biggest moral of the story, stick to a trail. Everything would have been easier if we followed a path, okay? Never not follow a path, especially at Red River Gorge. That's it. I hope you enjoyed the story time video, and I'll see you in the next one. Let me know if you want to see more of these, okay? Goodbye. I think I'm gonna go camping. Yeah, I'm gonna go camp.